Well, during a big election year, comedy shows have an endless supply of material in the United States. They like to poke fun at the candidates. Generally, their ammunition is provided by the candidates themselves.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job, some of these shows. Now, when it comes to those undecided voters, though, you know, like those will be asking questions in tonight's debate. Does political satire influence the decisions of those who don't know how they're going to vote? Here are some examples of what we're talking about. Have a look.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm going to stop the subsidy to PBS. I'm going to stop other things. I like PBS. I love Big Bird. I actually like you too. But I'm not going to keep on spending money on things to borrow money from China to pay for it.
He just told the moderator who works at PBS, I'm going to throw your ass out on the street, old man.
The previous debate, when Jim Lehrer apparently felt his job was to simply establish that the stage had more than one person on it.
Do you see a major difference between the two of you on Social Security? Do you believe there's a fundamental difference between the two of you as to how you view the mission of the federal government? What are the differences between the two of you?
Let me ask you this. Do you even see two people?
He said, but by the end of his first term, he would cut the deficit in half. And yet he still has not put a single credible plan on the table on how to deal with the debt crisis.
Okay, I'm sorry, Martha. I'm Martha, but with all due respect, this is a bunch of malarkey, all right? This is malarkey.
A bunch of malarkey?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's Irish.
Oh, boy.
So to discuss this and other topics making news this morning, we have assembled the pop culture panel in Toronto. We have Scott Fox, morning show host of Z103.5.
And
Good
also
morning, guys.
Hey, someone's got lots of energy. Also, Karen Gordon, she's the principal at Squeaky Wheel Communications. Good to see you guys.
Great to see you.
So what do you think? These late night shows, they're hilarious. I mean, we can control our laughter with some of those skits. Do they really matter? Is there evidence that they can sway the undecided? Karen.
I think without question. I think we've seen in the last two elections, starting with Tina Fey and Sarah Palin on Saturday Night Live.
She did a great Sarah Palin.
Well, you know, the funny thing is I Can See Russia from My House wasn't anything Sarah Palin ever said, and it was something that Tina Fey did, and it became widely known to Sarah Palin. So I think it's critical. These shows are now playing a critical role in how we view elections and how we view the politicians and how we view upcoming presidents.
But Scott, who pays attention to this and who gets swayed by it? It has to be the gullible, the simple, the people who never watch political debates. All they get is the coverage later.
I think that this just adds another layer, another dimension to watching the whole political experience unfold. I watched the debate, and then I watched the Saturday Night Live satire, and I thought it was brilliant. It made me laugh. As far as swaying the undecided, I think it probably does have some sort of an impact, but the key moment is when the candidate themselves inevitably goes on the show, and that sort of humanizes them a little bit and shows the softer side. So they do get that bump at the end.
So, you know, who wins by this? Is it the candidate who just comes across as, do you think, being funny, likable, and real, regardless of how many mistakes, perhaps, you know, that individual has made? I mean, you could be mocked on late night, show up, and still do well by it,
if you come across as sincere and well-meaning and honest, you'll be mocked for that too.
And boring? I mean, isn't that the difference? It's if you're going to show up, you got to be entertaining, and that will win the person over. I don't know. Scott, is that who wins the day on these things?
There's a lot of people who probably thought Mitt Romney was really boring until they saw him they saw him parodied on Saturday Night Live or on the Colbert Report, and that made them a little bit more interested. So I think in a way, the fact that he's getting a bit of that bump there is helping him.
When you look at the gaffes, they have a lot of fun with the gaffes. And props, the biggest, at least the best publicized, was the 47% remark by Mitt Romney, which wasn't a gaffe at the time because who knew it was going to be videotaped and played back to millions of people. But gaffes, they make you look, what, silly, stupid, incompetent? What do the gaffes do? People pick on this.
I think it depends on who it is. I think when you see a gaffe from a Republican and a gaffe from a Democrat, they're entirely different. I think when you see Mitt Romney talking about the 47%, and I would tell you that he should have known better. He should have known he was being taped. Everybody is taped now. Everything they do is being taped. But I think the gaffes, depending on the level of gaffe, take a look at Big Bird. I'm so tired of hearing about Big Bird. You know, Romney brings up Big Bird, and all of a sudden it becomes a huge thing. And then the Obama campaign does a terrible ad about Big Bird, so that adds to their gaffe. So it's a double gaffe on both sides. But I think the candidate who can laugh at themselves are the ones who win. And in particular on the political satires, if you can laugh at yourself, and quite frankly, I think Obama's far better at laughing at himself than Romney is. So I think he will fare better. And by nature, the satirical shows tend to be Democrat. So I think Obama's going to fare far better on these type of shows.
What if Obama will pick up the Big Bird thing tonight in the debate? We shall see. We'll be watching that. Another topic, speaking of missteps, a lot of people asking, is this a major misstep? The English National Opera creating quite a stir with a racy ad for the latest production of Don Giovanni. We're going to show you the ad. Here it is. This is a little too subtle, Dan, is what I'm thinking. The double entendre here is pretty in your face, isn't it?
Well, you got to look past the lettering. I mean, the lettering is just standard, but what's a little different
empty, open condom
is the
packet?
packaging in the bottom right-hand corner.
But I guess sex sells. Karen, is this a little too much for the opera? I thought the opera was about subtleties, or is that just me?
You know what? I hate to admit on national TV that I have the sense of humor of a 17-year-old boy, so I found it quite...
I think it's going to work.
I found it very funny, and one of my more conservative friends this morning was horrified.
Yeah.
The reality is, I think Don Giovanni was first done in the 1700s, so I think you take a look and you go, they have to move it along, and they're competing with the Expendables, they're competing with MTV, they're competing with a number of things, so they need to make it a little bit racier and a little, you know, to get more people to attend. I liked it.
Scott, do you have an opinion on this one?
I actually paid attention to the commercial just because of that, and mission accomplished. It got my attention. And then I started doing a little research, and now I kind of want to see it. So I thought that was excellent. Yeah.
Scott, does it also make a difference to you that they're all dressed up in modern dress?
Okay, so a little bit. There's an authenticity question there. But I wanted to know, is there going to be a Q&A at the end? Because I wanted to know how he did it. I mean, this really got my attention and thought, I might actually be interested in opera. Who knew?
Okay, well, Don Giovanni's one guy, but he's no Brad Pitt. Or is he? Brad Pitt just signed a deal. He's getting $7 million for this ad for Chanel No. 5. Let's have a look and a listen.
It's not a journey. Every journey ends, but we go on. The world turns and we turn with it. Dreams take over. But wherever I go, there you are.
Karen, is this sexy?
Well, in the spirit of confessions, I would pay $7 million to have him whispered in my ear. So we are all good.
Yeah. What does he have? What does Brad Pitt have that so many women find him so alluring?
I'm dying to know.
I don't even know.
Scott, I think we need long hair, goatees, blonde.
Scott doesn't like the guy, huh?
No, it's not that I don't like him. It's just I couldn't figure out if they were marketing Chanel No. 5 now as like a sleep aid because it was so drawn out, that ad. It's hard to watch.
That's what makes.
I think women like that.
Oh yeah,
Karen?
that's what makes it worth the $7 million. I think a good.
But
good
he's
deal.
a guy though, you know, and maybe not the average guy, but a guy selling Chanel No. 5, or is this sheer marketing genius?
I've totally bought what they're selling. Totally bought what they're selling.
Scott would have preferred Angelina Jolie, I guess. Okay, thank you both. We appreciate it. Scott Fox and Karen, I've lost your last name.
Gordon,
thank you. It's Brad Pitt. My apologies.
Great to see you guys.
Take care.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so you know what? I think I didn't see that Brad Pitt ad enough.
Enough?
Yeah,
You want to
so
see it again?
I want to take another listen. Can we do that? Do you guys mind? Okay. So here it
It's
is
not
again.
a journey. Every journey ends, but we go on. The world turns and we turn with it. Dreams take over. But wherever I go, there you are. My luck, my fate, my fortune. Chanel No.
What I want
5.
to say is,
Do you know that reminds
he
me of
looks
Troy?
a little rugged.
That was a bad movie, too.
He looks a little rugged to sell Chanel. Maybe if he was in a tux, a little cleaned up. What do you think?
Can I ask you a question?
Or am I dwelling on this a little too much?
No, but as a consumer of this ad, I mean, obviously it wasn't speaking to me,
Yeah.
but I thought maybe it was a movie trailer at first, the way it's very
You know what?
dramatically
Some
done.
people may think
no,
that.
but there's not a hint that it's about a fragrance. Not a hint throughout all that
Maybe
that we saw.
it's not hitting with you because you're a guy. Maybe this is a special message just for the women out there.
Okay, now that you've had Brad, how about some hockey?